What's up, guys? This is Xenostream38, and I'm joined here with MilesG170, and we are Joysticks United.
Millennial gamers in a Gen Z world. Zeno, I've missed you so much. Oh, this is awesome to be back. Joysticks United.
Back in the old recruiting studio. We don't have E with us today just because he had some personal matters he had to take care of, but
E, we're thinking about you
dearly. Yep. Yes.
Shout out to you, big guy. We say it like we haven't been talking to him all day, but
yeah, like
for
all
real. The listeners, just think about E and his family and keep an eye on his socials. He may share more, he may not. Either way, we're thinking about you, bud.
Yeah, definitely keep him in your thoughts.
All right, Zeno. So it's been a bit. We've done some stuff. We've had some stuff happen. Hasn't been the greatest of years, but we're moving past it.
Yeah, we're getting through it. I mean, you got to roll with the punches. Nobody ever said life was going to be easy, so we're here. We're still standing, and we're going to make the best of it.
Yep. And we are sorry that 2022 kind of turned out the way it did. There was a lot that happened. It was everything out of our hands. We promise we're trying to get back to it. We actually have a couple really cool things coming up. I am going to a con myself here soon. I'm going to Lexington Con. I'm going to be there for 4 days. I'm going to be interviewing people. I'm going to cosplay a little bit. I'm not going to go full White Ranger or anything like Zeno, but
who does that?
I have some stuff that I'm going to do. And I'm going to just try to chronicle it all. Keep an eye on our TikTok and our Instagram and Twitter and all that good stuff. But we also may be playing some games over on the YouTube channel, and those games would probably be something that Zeno's very good at.
I like video games.
We could run some of our Destiny content over there because Mr. Zeno is a Destiny streamer now.
Yeah. How do you know? I am now converted into a Destiny 2 streamer. It's been a lot of fun. It's been an exciting new journey. I'm still trying to find my audience within it, but I'm confident it'll be there. It's quite a bit of a change from the typical horror games, adventure games, but I found myself just not enjoying some of the adventure games I was playing, and I was just playing them because I had to put content out, is what it felt like. And I would oftentimes find myself wanting to cancel stream or not be excited about stream and want to like finish up stream really fast so I could play Destiny because there's new content coming out and like I want to get through this real quick. So I was like, why am I not doing this? Like Destiny is so much fun to me. Like I should be embracing this. So it's been a lot of fun.
We also have a fairly large Destiny group that we play with. It's, what did Matt actually call it? Matt Man's Destiny 2 server, because the man is a creative genius.
Yes, absolutely. It's been a hub for a lot of support and just great people to be able to meet within the Destiny 2 universe and help each other out, get through content, anything you need done. It's been a really nice hub for everybody to kind of meet at and stuff. And I've been utilizing it a bit as I've taken this journey on with streaming to kind of navigate people to it. So if they need help with anything and I can't personally help them myself, maybe somebody else can. Like I'd like to help as many people as I can with Destiny 2 content, but at the same time, I don't want to hold anybody back.
Yeah. So it's been really cool watching you shift over and engage with that new community. And anyone that hasn't made content before or hasn't changed genres, it's terrifying. It's so scary to change genres because you have an audience.
Yep.
They may go with you. I'm lucky that I have always kind of considered myself a Nintendo streamer. So most of my audience knows what to expect. So if I switch from Zelda to Mario to Pokemon to Minecraft to Stardew to whatever, they know anything on the Switch is fair game. Anything on a Nintendo console is fair game because I have my Wii U right here. I have a modded 3DS that I can stream from.
You bite your tongue.
But I have a lot of Nintendo stuff that I can kind of dip into with more coming. So for me, it's always been, you know where I'm going. Obviously, I notice there's a different crowd when I do Minecraft than when I do Mario, but my core people know what's coming. But Xeno has stepped it up, and he's changing genres significantly, and we're all proud of you, buddy.
I appreciate it. I'm still doing the horror game, trying to do it once a month, so it's not as frequent because I still enjoy the horror games. There just wasn't enough out there for me to feel comfortable making consistent content on it. So we're still going to look forward to that. Xenostream is still going to be a thing. It's just not as often as I navigate into this new field.
And even though it's not here, E is doing something very different now. But you can still find E here on Joysticks with us. So anything else he wants to say about that, he can on his own.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Stuff, but he will still be found in here with us, and I believe he will still be on the ADHD podcast, ADHD After Dark.
Absolutely. So
talk about that for a second. Yeah, that's something pretty new.
ADHD After Dark is something that was really just born out of nowhere. I can't really explain it any other way.
Did it come out of your all's Pokemon nights?
It did.
So crazy.
Yeah, it was one of those ideas that just like was absolutely just incredibly random, and it just took off. We were, was myself, EtoInteract, our friend Coder Coco, and Merc Daddy. We all decided on Thursday nights we were going to meet up and we were going to watch an episode of Pokemon Journeys. And all of us have ADHD. 3 of us diagnosed ADHD, 1 undiagnosed. But we like realized we were just like talking while we're watching this episode, and we're just kind of like bouncing ideas off of each other, and just random conversation was happening. And we're like, this is content. Like, why are we not recording this? So we just decided hit the record button. One episode, we're like, hit the record button. We'll record it. Whatever happens, happens. And then as we're doing it, we're talking about it. We're like, okay, let's put this into a podcast. Like, what is that going to look like? What does this podcast look like? And we came up with the name of like ADHD. Let's do something with ADHD, because most of us have it here. Like, and this is what's happening. We're just bouncing conversations to conversation. And then I believe E came up with how about we do ADHD After Dark, because it is not Joysticks United. I warn you. It is very different. We are not sweet and innocent. We tend to be a little foul-mouthed, just kind of little loose on the ADHD After Dark. So if you're looking for that whole different side of things, definitely find us over there. But be warned, it's completely different beast. But it's actually done really
over there.
Yeah, no, we told Miles actually after the first episode, we're like, hey, we made this new podcast. You're more than welcome to be a part of it in any fashion you want to be, but we're warning you, it's not family friendly, and we talk about a lot of things that might make people uncomfortable. And Miles is like, good to know. I support you, but I will not be partaking. And if you're telling me not to listen to it, then I'm not going to. So
yeah, that was the thing. 3 of them messaged me like, hey, don't listen to this.
Yes,
I'm like,
yeah,
what?
We're like, it was like the dad. We're like, we want you to support us, but we also don't want you to know what we're doing. And Miles has been exactly that. Just very supportive. He's like, we talk about numbers and stuff of the podcast, how well it's doing and stuff. And Miles has been absolutely like, you guys are doing great. Like, that's awesome. Happy for you. Like, you guys are enjoying it. You're having a good time, and it's doing well. So it's been fun.
And that's so much of content creation. You kind of alluded to it earlier when you said you weren't digging the horror games as much anymore. The adventure games, it sounds more like.
Yeah.
If you're not enjoying it, it comes across very clear. Yeah, like, I joke all the time, I'm going to get crap for this one. I enjoyed the CDI games. I hate them. They are the worst games I've ever played. But I had fun playing them for you all. And yes, I will be doing another one at some point. I made a deal with them that if we get to a certain amount of subs by a certain date, I can't remember what it was right now, but if we get there, I'll do the last Zelda game I haven't done on CDI, which I don't really want to, but I will, because you all enjoy it. But there are times where I'm playing a game and I'm just not enjoying it anymore. I'm going to turn it off because you guys don't want to watch me. There's a difference between like playing Super Dasky World, where I was just so beaten down by how difficult that was, as opposed to, and I still enjoyed it, but I was just done. I couldn't do it anymore. As opposed to playing a game like Wario Land 3, where by the end of it, I was just like, this is horrible. I'm done with this.
Yeah.
It was the main game of Wario Land 3 was a lot of fun, but it didn't matter. But on the subject of new podcast, me and Mattman are actually probably launching one next month.
Very cool. Yeah, Mattman's teased a little bit about it to me, hasn't told me a lot, just enough to keep me interested.
There's not a lot to say yet. We're still working it out. But it's going to be called Bourbon Country, 2 bourbon fans in the heart of bourbon country. And we have some other tags that may go into it. Matt's a lot better at names than I am, but like there's a corn joke that's going to come in there.
Beautiful, beautiful.
There's a lot, but that's the preliminary name, is calling it Bourbon Country. I'm about to lock it in so we can lock it up because that name's so good and nobody has it.
Yes, that is a good one.
So I want to lock
steal it before the...
I'm locking it in before this is edited.
Beautiful, beautiful.
You missed your chance, audience. Because that's a great thing about Buzzsprout. We're hosted by Buzzsprout, but we're not sponsored by Buzzsprout. But when you do log with Buzzsprout, they help you not copyright, but they help lock your name in for you. So I don't have to worry about someone else running out and grabbing it. They're like, nope, these guys had it. So they kind of back you on that.
That's really nice.
So besides Destiny, what have you been playing?
Man, let me see. I was doing a little bit of Pokemon. Pokemon Violet. I haven't played a ton of it though. Really,
off real quick.
Yeah, like it was fun. I think the last thing I did was the Terror Raid for Score Bunny.
That was my last one. I didn't do Greninja or the what's the new one coming up?
Gosh, I knew it before you asked me, and now I can't even.
Good.
God,
I'm looking it up.
My brain just went full derp.
Oh yeah, I'm gone. I saw it not that long ago.
It was a starter Pokemon, right?
Yeah, I thought. This is bad that we can't remember it. It must not be that exciting.
My God, I really wasn't.
Something that might have counter. It's something that might have a few different moves.
I remember seeing it and I was like, I might try to get that. I don't know.
Well, I'm lucky I have Tony who's going to hook me up if I don't get one. All right, going to the old Decidueye.
Decidueye, that's what it was.
Decidueye. Sorry, Decidueye fans.
Yeah, besides Pokemon, I played actually one game I did get heavily invested in for a period of time was Survive, and it's actually spelled Sur V1V3, and it's up to a 4-player co-op zombie survival game, but it's VR.
That's really cool.
It was so much fun. And the reason they titled it the way they did was because the virus that's the zombie outbreak virus in the game is called V1V3. And it's kind of like, I don't want to give too much away from the story, but you kind of start off as you pick up a radio, I believe, and a scientist is talking to you, and you're believed to be one of few people that are left alive in the Santa Carlo area. And he's radioing you to try to navigate through what's left of the world after the essentially zombie apocalypse to get to him, because he believes he's got a cure and he needs like help kind of navigating places with somebody and stuff and try to like restore humanity and stuff. And it's first person or like VR, like I said, and you can carry 2 handguns, I think, on your side holsters, and then you can get a special gun special gun is anything like a AK, a Uzi, larger caliber guns. You can put one on your chest. You can carry 2 melee weapons on your back. Carry a handful of first aid meds, zombie juice. You pour zombie juice on yourself to get through hordes, and they won't come after you because they think you're a zombie because you poured disgusting bile all over you. But essentially what you're doing is you have different story missions that you have to complete. Everything's like little menial tasks and stuff. But the rest of the time you're just kind of exploring the zombie apocalypse world. And you have to try to navigate all these zombies. You really have to be conscious of your ammo economy, because if you run out of ammo, you can just be screwed. And you have a melee weapon, but your melee weapon can break too. So you could be in the middle of fighting off a horde of zombies because you decided that was a good idea. Like, I don't know who would do that. I definitely wouldn't. And then your axe could just break on you, and then you're screwed. You have to run if you can run. If they surround you, it's all over. You're not getting away from them. They'll grab you and pin you to the ground. And yeah, it was very stressful in moments. Just because of like it's very dark in a lot of the areas and stuff. And when you're playing it single player, it did a really good job of like making you feel like you were there. So there was moments I had to take a break because I was like, I'm stressed right now because I walked out of this house and there was a bunch of zombies and I didn't know what to do. I started shooting and I freaked out, and then it was probably the wrong move because then a bunch of more zombies came because they heard the gunfire, but I didn't know what to do. But it was tons of fun, and I actually played it with a couple others. I played it with Switch and Coco at a point too, and there was one mission we'd progressed so far that we were underground in a tunnel system, and it was pretty dark in the tunnels to begin with, but we got so far to a mission, like we were getting pretty comfortable. We're like, okay, we can kind of spread apart from each other a little bit. As long as we stay close enough together, we'll be fine. But we got to a mission where we start off, all the lights are off in the tunnels. The only thing you can see is the light from your flashlight. And me and Coco look at each other and we're like, okay, we're sticking together. We're not getting away from each other at all. Not going to try to get like special items and stuff like that. We're sticking together. We're getting through this. It's me and you, buddy. And that's how we had to play that mission because we were genuinely terrified. It did a really good job of like bringing those emotions to you in the game.
That's really cool. I've been boring. I've been sick all weekend. Like I had to call out from work today. Yeah. And I've just been feeling horrible. But I've been pretty much just playing Digimon Cyber Sleuth in my free time.
Very cool. Very cool.
Love that game. Haven't progressed the story at all. Literally just team building still. Like all my Pokemon are max level except for like 2 that I'm trying to Digivolve. So haven't really done much of anything. Been playing a mobile game called 80s Mania Wrestling on my phone. It's essentially you book a wrestling show and you're trying to do your best with it. I'm not very good at it because I want to. It's based on actual wrestlers as well as like. So like I have Sting, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, all those guys, but then I also have like He-Man who has a feud with Skeletor, but it's not He-Man, it's Beast-Man and Skelegore. Okay. But they have, and in the 90s, Skelegore retires and comes out again essentially as a Scream knockoff. So it's really cool, but it's free on your app stores. But it's there's a modern version of it too, but the modern version takes more of the actual wrestlers, current wrestlers, and makes it into something. But I'm waiting on this AEW game to come out, and I need it, and I'm gonna stream it, but it's not out yet.
I've heard you talk about it quite a bit.
Yeah, it keeps getting delayed. There's issues. But the new WWE game looks fantastic, but I'm still just not feeling supporting WWE right now. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Understandable.
We'll see.
Very cool.
Hey guys, sorry to take away from the action, but it is ad time. And this week, I'm bringing you the ad. So you might be wondering why I got a cheeseburger on my head. And let me tell you, it's not just because I'm fat, but it's because we are getting ready for our St. Jude Play Live event. So what we're going to be doing, the last Thursday of every month, we are going to be doing a St. Jude stream over on MilesG170 over on YouTube. And we are going to be raising as much money as we can this year. I'm not really putting a goal on it. We're just going to do our best and see what we can do. But I'd love to see you guys out there. All right, guys, back to the episode. So we're actually going to move on to a new segment that we're going to start doing every podcast. And this is going to tie in the millennial gamers in the Gen Z world. Hey, I made a mistake here. We're not going to be doing this every podcast. We actually have a bunch of new segments that we thought of after we came up with this scene. So, my bad. We're actually going to talk about older games that we played, tell y'all where to find them, and compare them to more modern games and how the genre or the series has changed. What's really cool, both of the games that me and Xeno are going to talk about today are available on the Nintendo Switch right now. And they're one you guys probably already have access to. Just saying. But, Xeno, you want to present your game first, or you need a break because I haven't said as much for once?
No, I can definitely go. My game changed so many times because there's so many games that were so important to me when I was growing up, and I really vibed with growing up and were like my go-to. I
was gonna say, and I didn't tell you that this was a weekly thing.
Yeah. So I was really stressing over picking which one I wanted to do. And I mean, there's a lot of relief knowing that each one is going to get their time to talk about too. But I think the first one I want to lead off with, and probably the most important and most impactful to me, was the Kirby Superstar game over on the SNES. Amazing game, right?
Top 10 easy.
That was the first game that I fought to be player 2, right? You wanted to be the helper. Especially my go-to, I always wanted to be the Plasma Wisp guy. Because he could just go anywhere on the map.
I wanted to be the wheel.
Yeah.
Always.
Wheelie was freaking cool too. Man, that game was it was so great because those were moments that was if me and my brother were fighting, we weren't fighting anymore as soon as that game came on. We were playing Kirby. That was our job at that point. And it was so great. There were so many different levels. It seemed endless when I was playing it when I was younger. It felt like there was always something new to do. And even when we would stop and go back and play old levels, it had so much replay value to us when we were younger that it never got old. I could play that game for 10 hours straight, boot it up the next day, play it for another 10 hours straight. No problem.
So to paint y'all a picture of this, Kirby, by the time Superstar Saga had come out, had, I believe, 3 games in it. The first one actually being a Game Boy game, original Game Boy game, with no copy ability. Over time, you gain the copy ability, but it was really limited. And then you gain the animal companions, which was okay.
Yeah.
They were fine. Ricky and them were cool. Superstar Saga changed Kirby forever.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't just have one ability with these guys. You had multiple abilities. And it was just so many of them that are that was their debut, was in that game. Mm-hmm. And had 8 games in one, 6 games in one. I think it was 8.
It was either 8 or 9.
It was so many. And this is the gold standard of Kirby games. You talk to people, it may not be their number 1, but it is high on their list, and they know why it's high on their list.
Yes, absolutely.
What was your favorite of the games?
I probably am going to go with the Cave Offensive.
The
what it was
Cave
called?
Offensive was so good.
Because there were so many Easter eggs in it too. You could get the Triforce out of a chest. You could get the spin ball. You could get
a Superstar,
Captain Falcon's helmet. Yeah. There were so many things. And that also made it so... I was so invested to get all the treasure and stuff.
Yep. I was always a fan of the Flight of the Dynabird. That was always a really cool mission. And the Gourmet Race is always going to hold a special place in my heart because that is Kirby music now.
Right.
Gourmet Race is what almost everyone thinks of when they think of Kirby songs.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, Kirby's changed a lot since then. Xeno, what's the most recent Kirby game you've played?
I want to say it was on the 3DS, and it was Kirby Mechanical Machine or something like that.
Planet Robo, maybe?
Planet Robo, yeah.
I think that's what it was called. I actually skipped that one myself.
Yeah.
I know a lot about it, but I actually skipped that game.
I actually picked it up while I was in Texas for some training. And I would go.
I was wrong.
Yeah. I would go back to my hotel room after training because we were in like training for like 8 hours a day or something like that. And I would go back to my hotel room if I didn't really feel like going anywhere and doing anything. I would just pick up my 3DS and play it. And I actually stopped at a GameStop while I was down there because I was kind of burnt out on some of the games that I brought. And I was like, well, let me see what's here to try real quick. And that just happened to be one of the games I was like, oh, I love Kirby. Like, I'm going to pick this up. This is going to be super fun. And it largely didn't disappoint, but I think it was mostly like the nostalgia of Kirby. Like, it was still that side-scrolling kind of feel to it and stuff with some added benefits to it. I did miss not having a player 2 and the reliable partner, but I mean, I digress. It was a different game. But it definitely gave me some of those like old school nostalgia feels of the Kirby Superstar and brought back some of those memories of like, oh man, I remember playing this for hours. And like, I remember me and my brother playing it and then my parents hearing us up and we had to quickly turn the TV off and act like we were sleeping real quick. And I'm sure they knew, like, there's no way they didn't know. But they would come up and check on us and be like, all right, okay, they're asleep. And we're like, oh, we're so smart. Like, we totally fooled them right now. Like, let's turn the TV back on and keep playing for a few more hours. But it was cool. But it still wasn't the old school Kirby. But it still had the ambiance of it.
So for me, my most recent was actually Superstar Allies on the Switch. Is it Superstar Allies? Star Allies on the Switch. It was good, but by the time we get to Star Allies, the formula's tired. Actually, you can play as player 2 does play as enemy characters this time. You can also play as the boss characters from previous games.
Oh,
which is really cool, and it's fun, but it fades quickly. It needed some new life.
Yeah,
I haven't played it, but Kirby at this time does have new life because not anymore their most recent release, but the next mainline release was actually a open world game. Open world for Kirby standards.
Right.
I guess open world is not the right word, but it's a 3D exploration world. They finally are able to move on that access. It looks great. I really do want to play it, but I just haven't picked it up yet. They also just recently, at the time of recording, have released Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, which Return to Dreamland is amazing.
Return to
Deluxe
Dreamland
edition sounds great. So,
if I remember correctly, that one was the one you could, if you beat it, you could go back and play it as Meta Knight. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
And this one actually will let you play as Meta Knight early because you can play as Bandana D, I guess I should say.
Okay.
Bandana D, King DDD, and Meta Knight.
Cool.
It looks really fun, but it's $60, and I don't really. I have other games on my list, so at some point,
I've heard like I was always a huge fan of Mega Man games too, and the reason like they said they haven't really felt good about making a new Mega Man game is because how can they compete with that $60 price point? And they're providing you a Mega Man game that you could reasonably complete inside of 3-4 hours.
And games are going back up to 70.
Yeah.
Which is a struggle. Mega Man Battle Network Collection is coming out this month. I'm so excited. I'm going to be streaming that. I think all the collections so far across different consoles, but I have all the collections for Mega Man so far. Love Mega Man.
I was always a Mega Man X fan overall. Mega Man X5, the intro song to that with
was a
Zero.
banger. It was the best part of the game.
Yeah, it will forever live with me. My ringtone in high school was the Mega Man 5.
I had that in college.
Intro.
I had it in college and like halfway through kids' med school.
We were probably doing it at the same time. We didn't even know each other. Just fanboying about Mega Man X5.
I don't have it saved on my phone anymore, but yeah, I said there's a wake up alarm at one point. See, I liked Mega Man X. I love the Zero line of games for the Game Boy Advance.
Oh my gosh.
And the Battle Network games. Those are like my OG Mega Man was good. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
X was better as far as that style of games. Zero to me was perfect because Zero is my favorite. So playing as Zero really cool. And using all of his abilities and the art style and everything just looked great on that little
gorgeous
screen. It still looks good on the Switch. I have it on the Switch for the collection.
Yeah, I think I picked up the Mega Man X collection on Switch. I haven't played it since I bought it, but I was like, I saw it and it was like $20 or something like that. And I was like,
they're cheaper.
Oh yeah, I'm picking that up. Like, no chance.
So shockingly, my game is not going to be Mega Man after I gushed about it. My game is going to be a weird one, or Kirby. Oh, by the way, all the Kirby games we were talking about are the Kirby Superstar Saga is available on the NSO. So if you have the Nintendo Switch Online subscription, go into the SNES tab and it is available there. Beautiful. So you can play that one now. Yeah. Mine is was my first ever Final Fantasy game. And this is going to be a controversial one for you all. And I'm going to stick to my guns, and it's going to explain some of my hatred of a certain Final Fantasy game. That's Final Fantasy Adventure. It's not Final Fantasy, but it's Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
It was pretty much remade into the Mana series. So Sword of Mana is what it actually is. So if you're looking for this game and you want to try it as the Game Boy game, it is available in the collection of Mana on the Switch and whatever other consoles it released on, which I'm going to guess is just Nintendo, but I haven't checked. But this was back when Square Enix was just Square. Mm-hmm. And it's not a turn-based fighting game. It's more like Zelda. Top-down action game. Look, guys, I loved it. I know. I fully understand that it's not a real Final Fantasy game, but this came out in 1991. I played it for the first time in like 93. My brother got it and gave it to me. And until Final Fantasy VII came out, this was the only Final Fantasy game I'd ever played. So here's my culture shock. When Final Fantasy VII comes out, everyone's like, this is the greatest game ever. It's like, yeah, but it's not Final Fantasy. Because to me, Final Fantasy was this.
Right.
And I got so much hate because I'm like, oh, they just copy Dragon Quest. At the time, Dragon Warrior, which to be fair. But anyway, I digress. Dragon Quest is better than Final Fantasy. Don't at me.
Ooh, throw the shade.
I will continue to. But like, the Final Fantasy Adventure line broke off and became the Mana series. Trials of Mana is fantastic. All the Mana games are a lot of fun. They don't age great. They're still fun enough to play, but it's not like a timeless classic like Final Fantasy. To me, 6. I love Final Fantasy 6. To me, that's the timeless classic. I liked Final Fantasy 3 a whole lot. But if you look at the way the series is broken down, this game took a lot of inspiration from the original Legend of Zelda game, and it merged in new weapons. Like, there's at one point you had to be able to cut through grass, so you have to equip a sickle as your weapon. And over time, you charge up a special attack, and the sickle shoots out a bigger circle. But like, you had magic, you had companions, you had a chocobo at one point. I got to ride a chocobo around, and it's some weird mix of Zelda and Final Fantasy if you play it now. As far as the Mana series goes, they did release more games. They're out there. They're on the Switch. They're pretty good. I can't say that I would pick it up and play it today with the other options I have available, but for me, it determined a lot of my series. I played this game before I ever played a Zelda game. So when I loaded up Link's Awakening, which is like one of my top 10 all-time favorite games a few years later, it felt like playing this game again, and I fell in love with the style and the series. You know, I'm still a huge Zelda fan to this day because I played something similar when I was a kid.
Sure.
Now, how did Final Fantasy change after this? Because this was released as a Final Fantasy game, even if it has been changed since. Final Fantasy is a mess in the best way possible. Like, I mean that with all kinds of love here. They released a freaking MMO that was so bad, they had to have a world-ending event to destroy everything, remake the game, and make one of the greatest MMOs of all time.
Right.
That's Final Fantasy. That is the epitome of this game.
Yeah, that is 100% what Final Fantasy is about.
It's so wild to me that that's what... Like, I didn't play 15. I am looking at 16, but I have 15. When you make content, you don't always have time to play what you want to play.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And I don't even think I have my PlayStation hooked up to play it right now. But like, the last one I played was Final Fantasy 14. The last non-MMO one I played was Final Fantasy 10. Yeah, 10. And it was great. It wasn't anything like Final Fantasy Adventure, but the Final Fantasy series, guys, if you are into JRPGs at all, and for some reason you haven't played a Final Fantasy game, I hate it, but pick up 7, pick up 8 or 9. Just check them out. They're great games.
You might be slightly disappointed in me, Miles.
Okay, let's see.
But I don't think I've played Final Fantasy game all the way through. I played 10 for Long Jaunt, and then I think I was borrowing it from a friend or something like that, and they wanted the game back, so I gave it back before I completed it. But the only Final Fantasy games I've played and played all the way through and really freaking enjoyed was the fighting one, Dissidia. You remember those games?
We didn't even touch on the frickin' off canon games. What would we call those? Offshoots.
Spin-offs?
Spin-offs, thank you. We didn't even touch on the spin-offs. Go ahead and talk about Dissidia.
Yeah, Dissidia was like, it had the core concepts of Final Fantasy, and I believe like there was the fighting mode where it was like a fighting game, and it was very RPG-esque, in which you could attach the summons. You could change out your weapon, you could change out your gear, you could change out your skills that you used, and there was like a battle fighting style, like a 3D fighting game, essentially. And there was a lot of the map you could explore and kind of take things through. And I believe instead of a health bar, you had like a bravery meter and another meter. I can't for the life of me remember the name of it. But each time you attacked with bravery, you were taking away the opposite one from your enemy. But if they did like that move that counter bravery, they would start taking bravery away from you, and that's how they could interrupt your combos and stuff. So it was a very cool take on a fighting game, and your goal was to get one of the two bars down to 0. Once you got it down to 0, you won the fight. So it was like a constant like strategy mind battle as well as a fighting game, because you're trying to take down one of the two, but you can't just go hard on one with all bravery attacks because you'll easily get interrupted and stuff, and then you'll start losing the battle. It was really cool. And then also, I believe I remember you could change how you wanted to interact in the battles, and you could just do like a classic Final Fantasy style turn-based kind of a thing with the enemy.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and you could do that through the story mode. And at any point during the story mode, you could just change it if you wanted to. You didn't want to do the fighting mission. You were struggling on a fighting mission, for example, and you were losing. You could switch it to the other way if you felt more comfortable doing it that way and better at the strategy of it and stuff like that. So it was really cool. And it was on the PSP. I had hardly touched a Final Fantasy game, and I was engrossed in that game. It was amazing.
What's your other one?
As far as Final Fantasy games, you mean?
Yeah.
I did play 10-2 a little bit. Mostly because I thought the girls on the cover were cute and I was a kid and I was like, oh, cute girl, I'm going to play this game. I don't remember much from it, but I remember enjoying it. And then later I went back and played 10 for a bit.
Yeah. So as far as other offshoots, spin-offs go, Final Fantasy Tactics, mainly regarded as one of the best tactics games of all time. I enjoy the entire series beginning to end with that. I'm waiting for the next one, Square Enix. Where's it at? But outside of that, Crystal Chronicles.
Oof.
Crystal Chronicles is very special to me. If you guys have hung out in my chat at all, you probably have seen a guy named Brandon. Me and him bought the frickin' adapters to connect our Game Boys just for this game, to connect our Game Boy Advances to our GameCubes just for the game. And we played the heck out of it. We had a system down where we'd have the orbs for the magic. We'd drop, grab, whatever we needed to do. We had a system for the whole thing. And it was so much fun. Really interesting battle system, really interesting exploration system. Available on the Switch right now as a remake. Not quite as good as the original, but still really good. But just in general, games have changed so much from when we were playing these games. Superstar Saga is still probably one of the most difficult Kirby games. And Final Fantasy Adventure was super unforgiving. If you forgot to save, you just lost everything. There's no auto saves. There's no... God forbid you put this game down for a week and came back to it. There's no quest markers. You have to go find someone that will give you a hint about where to go. So you have to find the person that will give you the hint and get you back on track. I'll just say it. Games were harder in the 90s.
They were. Absolutely.
Like, even going back and playing some of these games, I played a little bit of Final Fantasy Adventure. It's still more difficult than a lot of other games nowadays. And I think Gen Zers forget that a lot. I saw a post today on Facebook because I'm old and use Facebook. That talked about the day gaming changed was when you started talking crap to the good gamers. Used to you saw someone there's prestige in a game. You're like, oh, I'm guessing that guy friend request because he's good at the game. Now you send a message, oh, you're better than me, touch grass, nerd.
Yeah, go take a shower.
Like, sorry that you guys aren't as good at video games as us. Yeah. But get over it.
Yeah, actually, I saw a post from Twitter to argue the other side of things. A mutual friend of Miles and I, he had posted that his father was playing Halo and he got reported and banned in Halo because he wasn't doing very good. He doesn't play video games a lot and stuff. Was just trying to have fun. And he got mass reported by other people on his team because they were annoyed that he wasn't very good. And he actually got banned for it. And it's just like the casual gaming experience is also just so lost on a lot of platforms and stuff too, which is really sad because a lot of people use games to just escape from their reality and to have a good time. And not everybody is that level of high achieving player.
All right. I did
Miles
good.
Rant.
I did good. Listen, Gen Z, I'm super proud of you guys that you guys are taking a stand with how you work and where you work and what you expect out of your work. But a lot of us have to keep working the same dead-end jobs that we've had for a while, especially the older you are. So if someone jumps onto a game and wants to relax for a little bit, it is not your job to go out and report them for being a bad player. When I was a kid, I had older players all the time stop me and help me learn how to play better. I got better at Halo because another guy stopped me. He's like, hey, why are you using that loadout? And I was like, I don't know. He's like, let me help you.
Yeah.
Gen Z, Be better.
Absolutely.
Stop being bullies and be better. A lot of us had to deal with the bullies for being nerds in elementary, middle, high school. We walked so you all could run.
You've paved the way. Yeah.
Seriously, we did. Y'all need to be better and stop being bullies. You're no better than anybody else. Get over yourselves. You're probably not that good at the game to begin with. Sorry.
Feel better?
A little bit.
Got that out there.
A little bit. A little bit. But I mean, it just frustrates me. Like, really?
Mhm.
It's not your job to bully somebody off of a game because they play poorly.
That's kind of what kind of set me in a direction to want to be a Destiny 2 content creator too. Because I see so many Destiny 2 content creators that they're like, oh, I'll help you, but you have to be this light level and you have to use this loadout. And I'm like, no, let's figure this out together.
It's not even content creators. If you look for FLG groups, they're all like, oh, you had to have beaten this 16 times. Okay, how many times have you beaten it? Well, I haven't beaten it yet.
Yeah, it's just incredibly toxic, and we're all here to have fun and stuff, and I think it's lost on the achievement of doing things that we forget to have fun while we're playing video games. Kind of what we originally our goal was to do, is to have fun, and it's kind of been lost.
I'll be real with you. It's a reason I don't go after these online games as much. If you watch my channel, I very rarely play anything online, and if I do, it's pretty much jumping in with Xeno and E.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, because it's not fun to deal with you all.
Sure.
And it's toxic. If you're a content creator and they know you're a content creator, they're going to be extra toxic to you to try and mess up your stream. I'm sorry. 100%. A lot of you guys that talk about wanting to be content creators and never do it, you're cowards. Hit the go live button and try to do what we do.
It's mentally taxing for sure.
I'm exhausted after a stream.
Yeah.
Because you're not just playing a game.
Yeah.
You're doing what we're doing here.
Yeah. You're trying to entertain, and it's heavy. It's really heavy.
Well, it's like the other day I had a kid come in there. Hey, how do you feel about trans rights? Never been in my chat before. First question they asked me. And I mean, I was honest with them and told them straight up, look, I think everybody has a right to exist. I think everybody has a right to pursue happiness. I feel like everybody has a right to who they are. And then I had to explain to them, that's not a good question when you come into someone's stream for the first time. I understand not wanting to be in someone's stream that's hateful. I get that. I get why they asked me. But if you're in my stream for 5 minutes, you're going to understand I love all y'all. I love every single one of y'all that comes in. Even the people that talk crap in the comments. I like you guys too. But just be better, you all. That's the big takeaway always. Be better. That's always going to be the big takeaway.
Absolutely.
I don't really have anything else tonight. We really just wanted to get in here and lay one down for you all. Get our new editor something to do. Toast GB!
Shout out to the Toasty Boy. We super appreciate you doing amazing work already from what I've seen with the Game Boat, which is a separate YouTube series that EtoInteract is a part of with Captain Coco. So definitely go check that out over on YouTube. Game Boat over there. They do a lot of Let's Plays, and it's highly entertaining if you haven't seen it.
It's some of the most ridiculous gaming I've ever seen. How did they flip that boat? I'll never get over that. They were playing Sea of Thieves, and they somehow flipped their boat completely upside down. And we're like, how'd you all do that?
What just happened?
With a water bucket. They did it with a water bucket.
Yeah. They just... You got to understand, though, the mantra, too, of the Game Boat is if it can go wrong, it will go wrong. And it's never planned. It's always expected. And it is absolutely chaotically hilarious.
I love it. But yeah, so if you guys are still looking for E, he is still active on Twitter. EtoInteract. He's still active on Game Boat, and he's still with us, so y'all can message us on here. His Twitch will not be active. Like I said, we leave that up to him when he's here with us. But there's plugs for him. Can we get E's icon and his socials? Great job, Toast. Xeno, where can they find you?
They can find me over on Twitch at Xenostream38. Like we said earlier, mostly doing the Destiny 2 content. So if that's something that interests you, well, definitely please stop by, hang out. Love to hear your opinions on, especially the new expansion that just came out. Very controversial opinions on that. I just completed the raid last night. I unfortunately wasn't able to do it during contest mode because I had prior obligations helping Coco move into a new place. So I did start it in contest mode, and we got through the first encounter, but I unfortunately couldn't give it enough time to complete the rest of it during contest mode, but was able to finish it outside of contest mode. And my gosh, what a beautiful raid. I don't think anybody can disagree about that. But definitely love to hear what you think about that. Find me over on Twitch, like I said, Xenostream38. You can find me on Twitter at Xstream38. You will find pictures of Caters, which is my cat, which I don't think anybody knows that I've gotten a cat on Joysticks. So if
it's been a while.
Yeah. I was fortunate enough that I was brought this cute little kitten. I was really unsure about him. He didn't really care for me much at all. I never pictured myself being a cat person. But now he is my absolute best friend. He is the greatest cat ever. I love him to death. So definitely look forward to seeing some cat pictures over on the Twitter, as well as I'll post some different Destiny 2 content things, what I'm thinking and stuff like that. Also Instagram, you can find me over there at Xenostream38. Again, pictures of Cade. That's reason enough to follow me on Instagram. Cade is so cute. He's the best boy. And then beyond that, we talked about ADHD After Dark earlier. If you're looking for the complete opposite side of what Joysticks is, find us over on ADHD After Dark. We have a ton of fun with it. We ramble about anything. The cool thing about ADHD After Dark that I don't think I mentioned earlier is we record an episode every Thursday night. That episode is recorded live. No edits are made. We post it immediately after the recording is done. Whatever's on there is on there. So like it's anything and everything. And we don't have a plan for any episode. We literally name the episodes on the episode. So and we post different things onto Twitter. So if we're talking about it, we post it to the ADHD After Dark Twitter page. So you can kind of, if you want to follow us over there, it's actually Dark After ADHD, I think, because the name ADHD After Dark was already taken. And we tried to contact them to see if they would like to join us on a podcast to talk about it. We have not heard back yet. We're still hopeful. It's been several months, but we're holding out hope. But yeah, you find us over there. It's a chaotically fun time. Fair warning, not safe for work, not family friendly. It is definitely a podcast you listen to while you're mowing grass out somewhere, or you're just driving to work in the morning or on the way home from work and need to decompress with something. I think that's all for me. Where can we find you, Miles?
Everywhere. So I do my Nintendo content over on YouTube, youtube.com/milesg170. It is a partnered YouTube, so there are memberships available and other ways to help support me. If you want more of this type of content, we need to get me full-time because that's my goal. And if I'm full-time content, I'm going to have more time with these guys. I'm going to have more time on the YouTubes. I'm going to have more time with Mattman, and I'm going to be going to more cons. So,
that's the dream, right?
That is the dream. So you can find me on YouTube, youtube.com/milesg170. Same with Instagram and TikTok. And then my Twitter and Facebook, I believe, you'll find me with MilesG170 Gaming. And you can also reach out to me, and I believe you guys have your emails in here as well in the description below. You can reach out to us directly through our Joysticks email or through our personal emails if you need us for something. Mm-hmm. Any closing remarks before I wrap it up?
This has been a lot of fun. I definitely missed it. I know you've missed it because we've talked about it for months, trying to get back into the studio and record and stuff, and it's just schedules just haven't lined up. But
I feel like I've been driving you all crazy with it too. I've been very
absolutely
aggressive.
Not. Definitely, we needed it, and it's a lot of fun. I'm very excited to continue this avenue. I've definitely missed it. It's been great. and I had a great time. Hopefully, listeners, hopefully you haven't forgotten about us and you enjoyed it just as much.
This is our first Miles Xeno stream.
It is, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
any other one?
Well, we did
with
post the YouTube video when we did the Taco Fest and stuff.
Yeah, but like this is like the direct, like you and me doing a full Joysticks episode together.
Yeah, absolutely.
By the way, we do have a Joysticks YouTube, and it does have some content, and we'll have more content coming in a couple of weeks when I'm at Lexington Con.
Beautiful.
Look, outside of that, you guys know the drill. Take care of yourself, take care of your friends, and be better. Thanks for listening or watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.